Describe we will see this, I hope, as that plane goes. I'm just going to ask you to describe the mood of the thing. I mean, this is serious business, but these are volunteers who are coming in from the public. Presumably there's got to be an element of fun about it. I don't know what we're going to say. But it is serious. How do you get that balance? What is the mood of an evening like this?
I think, depending on why people have come to the course, so people come for lots of different reasons. Family members have been in a similar situation, or they're coming just to learn. I think at the beginning it can be a bit different, but I think the way we teach, we try and involve some jokes, or we try and make it quite light-hearted. And although there's a serious message underlying it all, I don't think that means that we've got to teach it in a very sombre way. I think we can have some fun with it, like the Vinnie Jones adverts for the British Heart Foundation.
Okay, and the final thing, just tell me a little bit about you've hinted at it, any sort of feedback you've had. You talked about one case where somebody actually had to do it. What do people come and say to you at the end? What have you given them? Have you given them confidence? Have you given them a methodology? Have you given them something that's gone into their memory that they will recall? What's the feedback that you get at the end of the night, typically?
I think people enjoy the course. They've always learned something, and I think they're quite reassured that a lot of the information we tell them, they can go away and there's some resources that we give out as well that they can then refer to in the future. We also get people coming back every year or so to just refresh their knowledge, and I think that's a great example of how they remember most things, but they may have forgotten one or two things. So it's quite good in terms of, we do see that they have retained something, but then it's good to see them again to just make sure that they're up to date.
Okay, I'll just get you to do that bit again, because it's quite a lot of movement. They'll probably do nothing. Yeah, nearly that. Yeah, so just tell me that last bit again. So I was asking what the mood is like at the end, and you were talking about the fact that they come back and they want to come back. Just one more time, if you wouldn't mind.
From the beginning?
Yeah, from the beginning of that last question.
So I think at the beginning of the course it can be a bit different depending on why they've come. So sometimes people come because people have been unwell and they've experienced this in their life, or they're just coming to learn. So we try and intersperse some humour into the course to make it a bit more fun, and that's not the question, was it? It was about feedback.
Yes.
Feedback.
Yes.
So people, when they come back to the course, they're
it's what you would typically get at the end of an evening. People who may have been apprehensive, who said, that's just giving me the confidence.
Yeah. So we have a lot of people who've learned something, and we give them the resources to go away with, so they can, fill any blanks that they've perhaps missed from the course. But often we get people coming back as refreshers, and they've often retained a lot of the information. It's just one or two key bits that they've missed, or they've forgotten over the time. And sometimes things change over the years, so we often recommend they come back, and we tend to try and chase them up to encourage them to come back to just catch up with us and see what's going on.
Final question, I promise. Without being preachy about this, people who see this, because this is going to be taken out to community people who may, mentally say, yeah, this is a great idea, but I could never do it. What would you say to them?
We teach a lot of people to do this. So we teach people, today we're teaching people who were year 3 at school, so 7-year-olds, and then today we have people potentially who are up to 90. So we teach it's a vast audience who come to our courses. People come with arthritis, people come with heart problems, and they can all do at least part of the course. And even if they can't physically do it, having the knowledge there means that if they're out in the community and something happens, they can always tell someone else what to do. So I think it's a fantastic thing to be able to do. And the reason that we want to tell as many people as possible about it and get as many people trained is that if it does happen out in the community, there's at least one person around who knows what to do.
Brilliant. Superb. Thank you. Okay. Fine. I will just need to sort of glance at this occasionally. It's not because I'm bored. Just forget about the camera. Just look at me.
Okay.
Your position is absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
Just in case we use it, I'm not sure. Just tell me your name for me.
Jake Wilson.
And spell it for me.
Jakew. Yeah.
I know, so Bob Stanley, there's no please at you. Tell me why you've come along tonight, Jake. What did you hope to get out of it? What did you get out of it?
I came along tonight because I wanted to be able to make a difference in the situation if I need to. If I was on the street and somebody collapsed in front of me, be able to make the correct action.
And tell me, were you apprehensive? I mean, this involves it involves getting up close to people. It involves doing things that normally socially you wouldn't do. So just tell me how apprehensive you were.
I'm quite a nervous person, so I was quite nervous about it. But I think the way that it was done, it was easy to do. It was in small groups, so.
Tell me a little bit about your confidence. I mean, this could happen at any point, and you might be alone, but you might make all the difference to somebody's life. Tell me what that's like now that you feel you've kitted out for the task.
Yes, now I know. Now I've got the skills and know what to do. I'm more confident about what to do in the situation. So yeah.
Anything comes a particular surprise to you?
No, not really.
Okay, good. That's fine. That's all we need. That's great. Lovely. Three lovely sentences.
Yeah.
That's good.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your good? Okay, fine. So just ignore the lens.
Yeah.
First question. Yeah. So it was. Tell me why you're back here again tonight. So we'll do this.
Okay. So I decided to do the course tonight because I had previously done a first aid course around 5 years ago, and I found it really interesting and really useful. And I thought, as time's gone on, I might have forgotten certain details of that course, and it'd be great to sort of come and do it as a bit of a refresher, and remind myself of all the different procedures and what you could do in the different situations in that sort of emergency.
What has it done for your confidence? How do you feel now going out if you encountered somebody in the street? In what way do you feel different now compared with what motivated you to come in the first place?
I think that before I did the course, I might have been a bit sort of nervous. If something happened, say I was out in the street and there was a situation, I might have been more inclined to step back and let somebody else deal with it. And the course sort of gives you the confidence that even with the just basic skills that you've learned, you could try and help in some way. And that person might sort of rely on you just until an ambulance gets there, and sort of having the confidence to put yourself forward and volunteer to try and help with that.
So somebody who thinks up here, I know that would actually be a good thing to do, but they either haven't had the motivation, or they haven't had the confidence, or they think it's all about blood and guts and they think they're going to cope with that.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I'd encourage anybody who can to do the course, because I think rather than having more knowledge about these situations and knowing what you could do to help sort of makes you less scared of the situation and makes it less daunting than you might think. And a lot of it's just such simple things that you could do to help that you might not realise, and it's not all blood and guts. And I tried to think what I said. Yeah, is that okay? Yeah.
That's perfect. Let me just check before I let you go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He loves it. Frustrated by the amount of time that he's having to wait to get there. Oh, he's nearly there. So tell me, I had genuinely asked the other two people why it was they were doing this. Just tell me in as few words as you need why you're here. What do you hope to get from it?
I'm not sure what I hope to get from it, but I want to support them because they brought my mum back to life when she collapsed. And the first responders got to her before the ambulance people did, and she'd stopped breathing, and they did CPR on her, and they brought her back to life. I've already supported the ball, and I will support and fundraise. Whether I take this any further to be a first responder myself, I'm not sure yet.
What was tonight like in terms of how your expectations were met with what you actually did? Had you a clue what to expect? Do you know anybody else who's done this?
I came with Terry, and she has done it before. She was refreshing. I have done a first aid course before 20 years ago, so I had already done CPR, etc., but 20 years ago was a long time. Found the course very interesting, asked quite a few questions, especially about the choking side of it as well. And I think now I could go and do CPR on somebody, which I couldn't when I first walked into the room. There you go.
That's exactly what we need. Good. Right, fine. Let's just chat. Tell me your name and spell it for me so that we do put it up on the screen.
My name's Sophia Chowdhury, Sofia Chowdry.
Okay. And what year are you?
Year 12.
Fine. So tell me, where did you first hear of this screening that's going on today? Why did you want to do it?
So every Tuesday we have an assembly, and we went to assembly and there was these banners that were sort of stood up side by side, and a lady came and spoke to us about the heart screening, and I'd recently seen it advertised around the school boards, and I thought it'd just be a perfect opportunity to get involved, because she told us of the statistics of people who do potentially have heart problems, and that it's not usually caught because it's not provided on the NHS anymore. And my dad has got quite a few heart conditions anyway in the family, so I think it'd be very useful to...
Would you not have thought, as I would have thought, that heart problems, I speak as one who has had a heart attack, would you not think that heart problems come later in life?
Definitely.
When you're 18, 19, 20, you're bound to be okay. Just tell me a little bit about
Absolutely. I mean...
So my question won't be in this, so just give me that idea back in your own words.
I think, especially in advertised on TV and things like that, when you do see all the strokes or heart attacks, it is with people who are in older age. And usually when you're younger, you're more active, you go to school, you do sport. You wouldn't think, oh, I have a heart problem because I'm doing all these activities, I'm young, I'm youthful, I'm growing up still. So it's not necessarily the first thought that you have. So the fact that they came into school and did explain to us all the consequences and really the reality there is, I think it's an amazing opportunity.
How do you get that idea across to students and young people without frightening them?
I think being more friendly and not really approaching it as like a scary topic. I don't know how to explain.
Well, let me ask you on the way there. When you go in the sixth form centre or whatever, and so you've seen this banner, you've seen the poster, you've heard somebody talk about it. Do you decide whether to get involved in things on the basis of whether it's cool or not? And is having a heart scan seem to be cool? It seems to be really wise and a responsible thing to do. Where does that all sort of fit into your social group?
In my social group, so as a sixth form, we're really lucky. We have quite a sixth form that gets involved in things, and we're quite conscientious. So I think nowadays it's all about health and fitness and keeping healthy and looking after yourself. And I think in that sort of bracket of looking after yourself, to have a heart scan, it's not something that you can just go to the doctors and get done. So I think a lot of people were quite adamant. And today we had another assembly, and Miss Taylor went, oh, there's still spaces left, there's 4 spaces left, and about 10 or 15 students came hoping to get a space. So I think, yeah, a lot of people are quite adamant.
Just one final question. Just move this light slightly, but the sun is going in and out behind you.
Steve, I just
Yeah.
realised I walked into shots.
No, you weren't. I'm very tight. This is just how the
Oh, okay. I'm thinking,
No, you're fine.
terrible mistake.
Yeah, so it was just to describe what we're going to do. They've not wanted us, understandably, they've not wanted us to actually film specific students here, but they've got some footage
Okay.
of what normally goes on. So I gather it's an ultrasound and ECG. And
Yeah.
you see a cardiologist
Mhm.
who basically says, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
So just tell me if you would, just imagine that we're seeing, because they will give us pictures of these, just imagine that we're seeing pictures of what you have been through
Mhm.
this morning. So just talk us through it in single tense, so in present tense. So basically what happens is, just put that in a sentence for me and keep going.
Yeah, so at first you get your height and your weight checked, and then you sit and wait, and a lady comes up to you, and you get taken into this screen. This room has got like blue sheets down, and I said personally I was a bit apprehensive, not necessarily for the actual screening, but for the consequences. And she really put my mind at ease. She was really friendly and very understanding, and sort of did put my mind at rest. And you lie on this bed, and you've got loads and loads of wires. So even still, you're like, there's so many wires. And again, she puts your mind at ease, and you get these stickers placed on your ribs and on your body, on your feet. And it just takes a few minutes. There's like an electric pulse that gets sent through your body, and then there's a sheet that gets printed. And you wait for your results, and the doctor just explains to you what you had done and what the results are.
Did you also have an ultrasound or not?
I didn't have an ultrasound, but a friend of mine did. She said that she felt quite fainty, and so just to be extra cautious, they took her into a room and did an extra ultrasound for her.
Okay, and what sort of things then would the cardiologist say to you? Is it simply, yes, you're fine, get out? Tell me what that was like. Were you more apprehensive about the result in case they'd found something?
Definitely.
Okay, just tell me a little bit about that then in your own words.
So I previously my dad has got heart problems, so I was quite nervous when they called my name. And there's a big sheet of paper with loads and loads of lines on, so you're a bit confused at first. And he just explains to you, like, everything is fine, everything is normal, you're healthy, you're in the right place for your age. They go through your pulse, what your pulse is like and everything, and just keep healthy and keep doing what you're doing, basically.
And would you just tell me, sort of standing back from all of this, particularly given that you've got that there's a heart issue, what would you say to other schools, other students, people who didn't sign up for it? So it's just gone.
Yeah, just
You feel it.
Yeah.
What would you say to other students, other schools? I mean, I don't know how widespread this is, but just in terms of being a good or wise or sensible.
I
thing
think
to do.
you definitely need to take the opportunity. I think it would be silly if you didn't. The fact that it's being offered is amazing in itself, because not every school gets this opportunity. So I think, honestly, go ahead and have it done. It's not scary at all. Even though you think, oh, a heart scan, it's really scary. It's not. They're so friendly, they're so lovely, and it's best to know now than later on in life, I think.
Good, excellent, fantastic from my point of view. Anything else, Lisa, that you think we may need? I don't know.
I thought it sounded brilliant.
Ah.
I could see your voiceover when you were talking
Yeah.
through what you went through.
Yeah.
The procedure.
What? Tell me your name and spell it for me, so that if we do put it up on the screen when I come to the end, I've actually got it. spelled.
Full name?
Yeah.
Miles Fernandez Reeve, Myles,
Yeah.
Fernandez Reve.
Okay, good. And year.
Year 12.
You're also year 12. Okay. So tell me, Miles, what was your first awareness that this project was running? And so just tell me where you first heard of it, saw of it, and what your initial reaction was.
So I'm part of the training corps in Knutsford, and they'd mentioned it briefly to begin with. That was only just because we.
Sorry, let me just stop you there. When you say training corps, what do you mean by that?
The Air Cadets. So there's an Air Cadet squadron just down the road near the Bexton site.
To be a pilot,
Okay.
Right. So okay. Well, just explain then what that is. Air Cadets training corps.
Yeah, Air Cadets is.
No, sorry. In your sentence, just rather than say training corps, that could have been anything. It could have been first aid training. It could have been.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in Air Cadets training.
Yeah. ATC Air Training Corps, which is part of the Air Cadets. And a friend of mine called Dan Young, who does a lot in this area. We were looking at heart start and different first aid elements, and then the school brought this in, and third time hearing it, I thought I should probably sign up to do it. So yeah.
Tell me what you thought it involved.
I thought it involved injections, X-rays, all of that. The classic stuff that goes through your head when they say doctor's coming in and they're going to test your heart. But I'm kind of relieved there's no injections. So yeah.
So tell me a little bit, what's it been like? I mean, Sixth Form Centre or anywhere else, canteen, when you've been sort of talking about this, because I think they're trying to push through 100 or so today.
Yeah.
So what's the sort of buzz been like around the school? Is it just something else to go to, or is it something to get out of lessons, or no? I think this is actually we're being responsible young adults here. This is a good thing to do. Where is it sitting?
It's quite exciting actually. Lots of people asking when's your time? Are you doing it? A lot of people seem to think that they had to because of they did a lot of sports, and they thought it was particularly for any athletes. Others were just excited to make sure that they're not ill or have any problems. So a lot of us have been talking in our lessons. Have you done yours yet? What's it like? Does it hurt? Now, I mean, we were all told it wouldn't, but I've been relieved to find out that it doesn't hurt. So, yeah.
I see on the poster outside there, some sobering statistic that says 6 or 8 people in the UK on average, young people die with misdiagnosed heart conditions.
Yeah.
You've not been in yet. Just tell me what's honestly in your mind about the possibility that they might find something.
As in, do I think they will, or?
Well, no, I mean, you can't know one way or the other, but is there any apprehension that you've just got? Statistically, you'll be fine, but the purpose of it is that it has actually caught things in people and saved their life. So just tell me what's in your mind about that small element of risk.
Because there is that small element of risk, I'm all the more grateful that I am doing it. I compete competitively in judo, so already I should really want to know whether I can physically take the strain in certain areas. So I haven't done anything like this before, and just to make sure, because we know that there are instances where if you don't know, it can be detrimental. So if there's the possibility, I'm glad I'd know about it. Otherwise, I'm hoping I don't have any problems. But yeah.
Okay, and just tell me, a lot of these things that come out, schemes, opportunities, whatever it is, I think particularly in schools where younger folk are quite aware of, image and what they sign up to, what they don't sign up to, what they get involved in, what they don't get involved in. Is there a sort of feeling that it's a good thing, that it's a wise thing? What's the...
Yeah.
Would you encourage other people to do it? Like if a Holmes Chapel or some other school that hasn't been involved in this because they've never heard of it or they can't afford it because the local first responders haven't raised the money, what would you say to mates your age who perhaps not opted to do it today?
Yeah, I haven't actually done it yet, but I'd already say I'd definitely recommend it, purely because what you're getting out of it isn't necessarily like a good thing or a bad thing. It's helpful. It tells you where you stand, and I think, from my point of view, whether the results come in good or bad, it means I can act on something. If I didn't know, then I wouldn't be able to do anything. I'd just continue as usual with a possible life-threatening problem. So that applies to everyone. It's not just me. If the possibility's there, check it.
Okay, excellent. Anything else you can think of that you may want to add? I think the main points that you would want for the...
End section particularly.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
very good.
Good. Anything else from your point of view? Always give one of your people a chance to say anything, because it's not so much your agenda as ours in terms of what it feels like.
Not really. I mean,
Good stuff, I think.
yeah.